Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe, like, and drop a comment. Every click helps us uncover the next untold mystery. Now, let's get into the case. The night it began, the rain hit Millstone Avenue like it was trying to wash the entire town away. Flashing red and blue lights cast long shadows across the old brick buildings as Detective Hannah Rourke stepped out of her car. She'd seen crime scenes before, too many, but this one felt wrong the moment she crossed the yellow tape. A car had been found abandoned under the old railway bridge, its driver's door left open and the engine still running when a jogger reported it at dawn. Inside, the seat was empty. No signs of struggle. No blood. No footprints leading away. Just silence and the hum of the rain. The missing driver was Elliot Graves, a local journalist known for digging too deep into other people's secrets. He'd vanished before he could publish his latest investigation, something he'd only described to a colleague as bigger than anything he'd touched before. Rourke scanned the interior of the car with her flashlight. A notebook sat on the passenger seat. Its pages were soaked, almost unreadable, except for a single line written in blue ink, barely surviving the storm. "It ends where it started." That was it. No signature. No context. But it was enough to make Rourke's stomach tighten. She'd seen this handwriting before, or at least, she thought she had. Back at the Millstone PD, the squad room buzzed with quiet urgency. Elliot's editor paced back and forth, insisting he had been working on a story involving old town officials, unsolved disappearances, and money that had never been accounted for. The type of story that made enemies. Rourke pulled up Elliot's old articles. They traced patterns through the town's history, cases dismissed too quickly, witnesses who changed their stories, records that mysteriously went missing. Elliot had been connecting dots others refused to see. But something else caught her eye. 2 years earlier, she'd worked a case involving a missing college student. It had gone cold, no leads, no suspects, but she remembered the anonymous letter that arrived during the investigation. A taunt written in blue ink. A message that made no sense at the time. Look back before you look forward. The handwriting, the style, it was almost identical. If Elliot had found a connection between that case and his own work, someone might have wanted him silenced. Rourke requested access to Elliot's apartment. When she arrived, the place was surprisingly neat, no sign of forced entry, no chaos. But his office told a different story. Papers were scattered everywhere, drawers pulled open, hard drives missing. Whoever had been here wasn't looking for valuables. They were looking for something specific. Then she noticed the bookshelf. One book was pulled slightly forward. Inside the gap behind it, she found a sealed envelope addressed to Elliot. She opened it carefully. Inside was a single sheet of paper. Again, only 6 words, written in that same distinct blue ink. "You're getting too close. Stop now." Rourke exhaled slowly. Someone had warned him. But then, something else slipped out from the envelope. A tiny folded map. A red X marked a spot on the outskirts of town. Her pulse quickened. And when she arrived at that location, pushing aside the heavy iron door of an abandoned storage unit, what she found inside changed everything. The metal hinges groaned as Detective Hannah Rourke pushed the storage unit door fully open. The smell hit her first: dust, old wood, and something colder, like the scent of a place that had been forgotten for far too long. She lifted her flashlight, its beam slicing through the dark. Inside was a small table, and neatly arranged on it were boxes of documents. Not random junk, every box was labeled with dates stretching back nearly 15 years. Rourke's heartbeat quickened. That time period matched the string of unsolved disappearances that had haunted Millstone for over a decade. Someone had been collecting evidence. Someone who wanted the truth exposed, or hidden. She opened the nearest box. Inside were newspaper clippings, photocopies of police reports, and notes written in 2 distinct handwriting styles: Elliot's tight, slanted print, and the same blue ink script that had warned him to stop. That meant only one thing. Elliot hadn't been working alone. Before she could process it, her phone vibrated sharply. It was Officer Malik. "Hannah, you need to get back to headquarters," he said, voice tense. "We've got a problem." "What kind of problem?" "A big one. We just pulled surveillance from Elliott Street." Someone broke into his apartment again. And this time, they weren't looking for files. What were they doing? She asked. They were waiting. Rourke exhaled slowly. Someone wanted her off the case, or worse. She locked the storage unit, took the most crucial documents, and headed straight back to the station. Inside the evidence room, she spread everything across the table. Maps. Timelines. Lists of names. A pattern began to form, subtle but undeniable. Every disappearance occurred near land recently bought by a development company. A company run by 3 influential families in Millstone. Elliot had circled those family names in red ink. He'd drawn arrows connecting them to former police chiefs, city council members, and local contractors. It wasn't just corruption. It was a network. A network that had operated under everyone's nose. Then Rourke found a file at the bottom of the pile, one she wasn't prepared for. It detailed the case of Lena Hart, the college student who'd vanished during Rourke's early years on the force. Notes about the day she disappeared, the witness statements, the anonymous blue ink letter, and something else. A photo. A grainy image of Lena standing inside what looked like the same storage unit Rourke had just searched. She was holding a folder. Behind her, a figure, blurred but unmistakable, stood in the shadows. Tall. Lean. Wearing a jacket with a distinctive stitched pattern on the sleeve. Rourke felt a chill crawl up her spine. She'd seen that jacket before. She pulled up old police logs. There it was, listed as evidence belonging to an unidentified man observed near the Hart disappearance site. The suspect was never found. The description was minimal. But now, there was a knock on the evidence room door. Malik stepped in, pale. "Hannah, you need to see this." A message was just delivered to the front desk. No sender. She opened the envelope. 6 words. Same handwriting. Same blue ink. "Stop digging. Or someone else disappears." Underneath the message was a photo taken just hours earlier. A photo of Rourke standing outside the storage unit. Someone was watching her. Detective Hannah Rourke stared at the photo, her own image frozen in time, caught by someone hiding in that silent stretch of woods near the storage unit. Her pulse hammered in her ears. Whoever sent it wasn't just close to the investigation, they were inside it. She folded the message carefully, forcing her hands not to shake. "Malik," she said quietly, "no one else sees this." "Not yet." He nodded, jaw tight. "Whoever's behind this knows we're onto them." Rourke locked the evidence room door behind them before heading to her car. She needed space to think, somewhere that didn't feel compromised. Somewhere no one would expect. She drove to the old Millstone library, closed for renovations, quiet, abandoned. Perfect. She spread the stolen documents across a wooden table. One by one, the clues converged. 3 families. 15 years of disappearances. A hidden network using development projects to seize land at the edge of town. The same blue ink warnings handed to both Elliot and Lena Hart. It wasn't random. It was organized. And the handwriting, consistent, controlled, almost artistic. She had seen it before. Not in a case file. In person. Her mind drifted back to a community meeting last year. Elliot had been there, presenting concerns about budget mismanagement. Sitting in the front row had been Thomas Vexler, head of the Millstone Historical Preservation Board, known for his calm demeanor, charitable donations, and his obsession with keeping outsiders from changing the town. He had taken notes the entire meeting. In a small journal. Using a blue ink fountain pen. Rourke's stomach dropped. Before she could process it, her phone rang. Malik again. His voice was trembling. "Hannah." Elliot just reappeared. She froze. "Alive?" "Yes. But barely. Someone left him outside the hospital. He's unconscious, but the doctor says he might wake up tonight." Rourke didn't waste a second. She grabbed the files and drove straight to Millstone General Hospital. Every second felt heavier than the last. Inside Elliot's dimly lit room, machines beeped steadily. He looked fragile, bruises lining his jaw and ribs. Malik stood by the window, arms crossed. "They dumped him somewhere just outside town," he said. "Like they wanted us to find him." Rourke stepped closer to the bed. Elliot stirred weakly. His eyes fluttered. "Hannah," he whispered, barely audible. "I'm here," she said. "Who did this to you?" He swallowed hard, pain visible across his face. "The board, the land deals, you were right." He struggled to breathe. "But it's not them you need to worry about. It's the one who keeps the records. The one who wrote the notes." The lights suddenly went out. The steady beep of the heart monitor vanished. Darkness swallowed the room. Malik cursed under his breath. Backup generator should have kicked in. Before he could finish, Rourke caught something in the hallway, the faint scuff of a shoe. A slow, deliberate footstep. Then another. She drew her flashlight and aimed it toward the doorway. A figure stood there. Tall. Lean. Jacket sleeve stitched with a distinctive pattern. Thomas Wexler. His voice floated through the darkness, calm and steady. "You should have stopped digging, detective." Rourke braced herself, heart pounding, but Wexler didn't move closer. He slipped a small object across the floor, a folded note, before disappearing into the stairwell. She picked it up with trembling fingers. Blue ink. 6 words. "You found the truth too late." When the lights flickered back on, Wexler was gone. Elliot was unconscious again. And every document, every file Rourke had gathered, the evidence she brought from the library, had vanished. Wexler hadn't come to finish her. He came to erase the case. 3 weeks later, Rourke stood outside a sealed-off construction site at the edge of town. Workers claimed to hear noises beneath the concrete. Strange scraping. Echoes. Like something or someone buried too deep to reach. The millstone disappearances stopped. But the truth never surfaced. Wexler was never seen again. And every so often, a new envelope appears on Rourke's desk. Always unsigned. Always written in flawless blue ink.